manager's guide that has been put up on the support page. Now, I have had a glance up and down the guide. I haven't read any of it, but we're going to be doing that now. Now, up until now, we've been doing testing on the leagues. There's only been two captains, two people that have been asked to act as captains during the testing. That was myself and Sylvia. We've done some testing on it. There's been problems, needless to say, and Steve's now he's been working on it, and he's happy to try a league which is going to comprise, well, rather than talk about that, let's just go to the league page. Now, this has got a setup for a maximum of 6 teams, and the sign-up date for teams is Friday, 2nd of September, 11 PM British summertime. So that is a few weeks away. Well, a good few weeks away, because we're, the 6th or 7th of August. I don't even know what date it is, but it's roughly that. So if we look at the league page, unlike a tournament, like a tournament page, it looks similar, but it is a setup for a league. And you'll notice there's a button there that says Team Manager. And the Team Manager's the most important thing on this, but the other information is all there to be read. It's to be played on Saturdays at 7 PM. Now, this is local time, so obviously my computer tells me that it's going to be 7 PM British summertime. If you live in the States and you're on the East Coast, then it will say 2 PM. So it's all local to your computer and where you live. So in my case, it's 7 PM. It says the league lasts, normal play is 15 weeks. The playoffs will take 2 weeks. The format is single player, race to 7. There's a match timeout, the same as you have in the normal tournaments. The league type is a handicap race. Each player on a team plays each player on the other team in a handicap race. This is played in multiple rooms, where each match has a room. League players per team is 3, with up to 2 reserves. So we're looking for, if you're going to create a team, you're going to have to then send out invites. We'll get to that in a minute, because I've already set up a team, and I've sent out invites. I've only done that a little while ago, and we'll cover that in a minute. It says maximum average rating 2,000. Playoff spots is 4. Shot clock, no shot clock. It's at the beach house. Default table, tournament table set up, pocket size narrow, call shot off because it's 9 ball. First go is lag for break. 3 fill on by default. Jump cues are on as well. And then call money is off. Spot money is off. Rack money is off. And push out after the break only. So it's a standard 9 ball rules, basically. That's what we're talking about. The handicapping is multiple money balls. Now, if you've watched VP4 TV, you'll have seen plenty of Friday Night 9 balls, and Friday Night 9 ball is a multiple money ball handicap tournament. So somebody might be getting 6 and out, somebody might be just getting the 8 ball. You know what that means. It says here in the information, join a team, play in a league, don't miss out on league play. Great chance to socialise, play some pool, and root on your teammates. This league is handicap matches. You play every player on the other team at league night. To join a league team, send a message or PM the captain. I think that's meant to say to the captain. You can find team captains listed in the teams tab below. To create a team means you are the captain in brackets. First, please read the captain's guide. Now, this is the bit we're going to get to. Now, this is a lot of reading. Now, first thing I would say is, if you have no intention of wanting to be a captain, i.e. setting up a team, then you need pay very little heed to the guide. The guide is there for team captains to read through, and like I said earlier, I have not read through it. I glanced through it. I've read none of it. There's loads of pictures and stuff, because that's what you will see when you're setting up the league. So if we look down here, we'll see there are no teams, because this has only went live, as far as I know, this afternoon, and I noticed the message in the lobby. But what I will show you is, on the team manager, if I click the button, I've got the team set up. The team is called VP4TV, as it was in previous testing, and it tells you there, Team VP4TV needs 2 more players, because at the moment I'm listed as one. Now this is buggy, this little drop down. It works perfectly on the external browser, but it doesn't work on the internal browser. And I'll show you what I mean. Like that. It shouldn't do that, but it does that. And Steve's going to have to look at that and get it fixed. And hopefully that will disappear. Right, there we go. Now, I've sent out a multitude of invites to names that I could think of at the time. And I have sent out like 14, or I've had 14 messages. I sent an invite out to Super Admin, who is Steve Chaplin. He's rejected that. But there's other players that have all been sent invites. I'm going to send some more out as well. But this is just to show you how it looks on screen. So at the moment I don't have a team. But on this part here, I can add a co-captain out of the players that are in my team, or subs in the team. We'll get to all of that stuff, because you'll see it on the league manager's guide. So if we go down, or the captain's guide I should say, if we go down to the captain's guide, we'll have a read through this and see if I can understand it, because there's a lot of reading. This guide tells all about creating and managing league teams. The first part of this document answers basic questions about managing a team. The proper guide is in the second section. It says, frequently asked questions. Who should create a league team? Any player can create a league team. Not every player is cut out to be a captain because of the responsibility of managing a team properly. If you like leagues but don't want the responsibility of running a team, better to join a team as a player. So there it is in black and white. It's simple. You don't have to worry all about this manager's guide if you simply just want to participate in a league. You can look around for captains, or you'll get invites. That's basically what it's about. What does the captain do? A captain manages the team. The first step in league management is creating a team. Then players are invited to fill the team and reserve slots. Finally, the team is signed up for the league. Now that once for example, once I've sent out invites, or the captain sent out invites, he or she needs to have enough replies, or positive replies, in order to set up that 3-player team plus the 2 reserve slots. And it needs to be done before that tournament sign-up deadline, which you remember I mentioned that earlier. We'll go back to that and we'll clarify it again. But that's the important thing. When you set up a team and you've got all your players in your team, you're not in the league. You've still got to sign up to the league before the deadline, as you would sign up for a tournament before a deadline time. So that's the important thing about it. For new captains or new people who want to set up a team, you must make sure that you sign up to the tournament, because you won't be in the tournament, all you'll have is a team. So you need to remember about that. It says, how many players should I invite? There is no limit to invitations. Well, you can see I've sent out 13 invitations, or 14 so far. There is no limit, but a good approach is to first invite the set of players you really want to have. What does that say? Have ratings that meet the ratings limit for the league. Then when you get exceptions or rejects, you can always invite others. It is wise to have at least one reserve in case a player can't make it. If a player does not show up, all the matches are forfeits. Note that you can't invite players partway through the league, so if you lose a player, they can't be replaced, but you can add players while league night is active. So you can only, I think, as far as I understand, you can only add players before the deadline date, or change your setup for your team before the deadline time for the league night to start. So if the league night starts at 7 p.m. my time, and somebody hasn't showed up, and it's 6:30, and you think they're not going to show up, then you can still change your team over, I believe. That's my understanding. How should I determine and set a lineup? You can set the lineup to any player choices in order. I think that must. Oh, wait a minute. Order that might say you wish up till the time league play starts for the night. Be aware changes can't be made during league night play, so make sure you submit any changes in advance, like I've just mentioned. You can play anyone you want. Be aware that reserves expect to play a certain amount unless you have an understanding about only playing if absolutely necessary. Now that's a point to make. I mean, if I've got a team of 5 and I've got 3 players in the team and those other 2 guys are reserves, they're going to get a league night. You know, they're not just there in case somebody doesn't show up and they sit week after week not getting a game. They're going to get a game. So I think the one main idea about the league is you rotate your team. And remember that the handicaps come into play. Also remember that if you have a lot of sharks in your team, they're not all going to be allowed to play because of the rating limit. So you can't have all the top rated players in your team and expect them to play. That ain't going to happen. Part of the managing a team is keeping your players happy, and playing keeps them happy. You should be communicating with your players using messaging, email, Facebook, or whatever. They should know what is going on. Note that lineup changes do send out messages to players, and given players have email forwarding turned on in their profile, the email is sent to. So on your profile, you should have all the boxes checked so you get notifications. That way, there's no excuse for you not knowing about anything. You'll get that forwarded to you from VP4. I created a team, invited players, got accepts, set a lineup, but my team does not appear in the Teams tab. Now, this is the thing I was also talking about signing up for the tournament. You can have all the players in your team, but the team won't show on the team tab on that league page until you have signed up for the tournament. So it says here, just to confirm it, after you have done all this, selecting submit only saves your team. So when you hit submit, you've saved your team and your setup and lineup. To actually join the league, you need to press the sign up button. Once your team is signed up, you won't see the sign up button anymore, and the submit is used to change team info and lineup. My team allowed me to invite 5 players, 3 to play each night and 2 reserves, but I can't make lineups with some player combinations. Now, this is also explaining about the handicap and the rating limit. There are 2 checks for the average rating limit. One is overall for your team, the other is for the lineup. The limit shown on the team manager is the average of all players on your team. The lineup rating is also checked for being under and making those lineups illegal. This means that you must be careful about the player averages. It is unwise to have a situation where one player must always be in the lineup to make the rating limit. If they can't play, then you have a big problem. So make sure you have some flexibility in lineup creation. This is why I'm saying that you should hopefully have a mixture of quality players or higher rated players and lower rated players. Plus the fact if you're going to do the league correctly and in the proper manner, then you will swap your team around regardless. That way, every player in your team, including those who are in as subs, then they will get a game. They will get a league night. And that's how you should be thinking about it. You shouldn't be trying to keep the same team week after week. It's not fair. The proper way is rotate your team, as they do in football and most big sporting team events during a season, that is. What if players' averages change and then the team or lineup is over the limit? Player ratings are fixed at the time of invitation and stay that way for the duration of the league. So that's another type. I need to tell Steve about these typos. So that cannot occur. Note that God reserves the right to adjust handicaps if needed for all out-of-line ratings. So don't try to get a player has a bad rating on your team, as it will cause issues for your team and you may not be happy with the resolution. Now, God in this case is the super admin. The buck stops there. I should say. What information can be changed? Now that's another typo. What information can be changed using the team manager? That depends on the state of the league. Team name and logo can be changed up till the time the team sign-ups. Then it is locked. You and invite, add, kick players up until league play ends and league playoff starts. Then that is locked too. No changes are allowed at all while league night is active. I hope you understood that. Now, where else have we got? How is $3 distributed among team members? The purse is split 75-25 between $3 payout for the league and $3 payout for the league playoffs. The league payout is to all teams in the league, so everybody gets something. The playoffs pay all teams that qualify for the playoffs. The $3 league play payout for a team is split among team members. How much each team member gets is directly dependent on the number of nights they play. This makes sense as the players who play are charged the league night fee. A player who plays all matches is going to get twice as much as a player who plays half the matches. Now let me read that again. What's that part? Right, I've read that bit. Right, so it says it's half the matches. Then it says, as the players who play are charged the league night fee, a player who plays all the matches, right, got that. The $3 payout for league playoffs is split among all team members equally. This includes any reserves, whether or not they play. There is no league fee charged for playoff play. What can a co-captain do? A co-captain can set up the team lineup. Co-captains are specified by checking the co-captain checkbox for a player. It is good to have one co-captain with the agreement that they will be in charge of setting the lineup if the captain can't make league night. League captain reference. This reference describes the captain team management interface. It is accessed by pressing the team manager button on the league event page. Team creation dialog. Now this is where all these screenshots come in. When first creating a team, the following dialog appears, which I've already showed you because I've got my team logo and everything. You would browse for a picture, add that as your team logo. There is the send team invitation. Now in this box here, you type the person's name, their VP4 name, It's best to try and type the name in full and then just start deleting backwards the odd letter, and then the search will find the name eventually. And then you've got a message that got sent out along with the invite. It says there, the basic message is please join my team, but you can also type in other stuff if you want instead of that. And then you hit submit. To create a team, you must enter a name and logo. The name must be 3 characters or longer. The character limit is 32, but be aware some very long names may not display well on the League event page tabs. Logo. The logo can be a JPEG or a PNG file. Note it does not need to be very large. The system will resize it to 200 by 200. Not matter how large it is. That's another typo. This is full of typos. I'll get them to go through it and get rid of them. Send team invitation. 2. Optionally, you can list players to send invitations to and customize invitation if desired. So you can type in whatever you want there. Note that invitations are not needed here because the team manager has that capability. Invite message. An additional line in the invite message you can customize. Note that this goes to all players listed. Team manager dialog. The team manager dialog is used for all other captain functions. It allows you to change team info, add players, remove players, set co-captains, set lineups. This dialog is always accessible, but be aware it is locked to any change while a league night is active. Also, certain fields are also locked depending on the state of the league. Once the initial team creation is done, pressing the team manager button shows this dialog. Team setup. The team Mario Brother needs 1 more player to be in the league test and can have up to 2 extra players. There's your logo. Invite messages. You've got the invitations that have been sent out, and you've got the little drop downs here where you can then add that player to the lineup for that particular league night. So it says none at the moment. You've also got the little tab where you can put in the player as a co-captain. So you'll see if you look at this, you've got 2 players in the team. You've got Super Admin as the captain, and the second player is semi-pro. And then you can choose to kick the player, but you're not kicking the player like any kick would happen to by admins in the lobby. This is just dropping them from the team list for that particular night, and then you can add another player, one of your subs for example, and then you would hit submit. Note the message at the top. Team Mario Brother needs 1 more players to be in the league test and can have up to 2 extra players. This is showing the team needs 1 more player or players to meet the minimum and have the sign up button appear on the dialog. It also shows that up to 2 extra can be on the team, which helps in deciding how many invites to send out. Also, notice there is 1 invite outstanding, which if accepted is enough to sign up. So this part here, if you look there, Booger, Poolshark and 9ball.com are the 3 players that have had the invite sent out, and they need 1 more for the team. So they're waiting on 1 response. Now, how far have we got here? Blah, 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 blah. Right. The name must be right. We've read that. Logo, we've read that part. This logo, right, we've read that bit. Additional lineup invite message you can customize. We've read that. Now, the important part here is this average rating thing. Team average rating shows the average rating of the team with the league average rating limit to the night. So the rating limit is 2000 and the team rating is 2058. Now let's read this bit. Pressing submit saves information and sends out any invites pending. Members list. The members list shows all players on your team and has functionality for managing your team. The first member listed is always the captain, which should be you. The column headers are next followed by the information rows for playing on the team. Player, the player names and ratings in the team. The kick button, which is that obviously, and the players and all this stuff here. Kick button. Each row other than the captain has a kick button. To kick a player off the team, you must have enough players for a lineup. An error will appear unless you have extras. Now, when I say kick, I'll correct myself in that. The tab on the right side is the tab that you drop down to choose as like player number 1 or player number 2 or player number 3, if there were 3 players. The kick is to kick the player off the team. So, and that once they're gone, they're gone. So you won't be using the kick button for the league week. You'll leave that alone. But if you do kick a player off a team, and you had a team of 5, for example, then your team's then down to 4. So it would mean, for example, in this case, you'd have 3 players and 1 sub instead of having 3 players and 2 subs. So I think you would steer well clear of that unless you had some serious fallout with somebody. So, steer well clear of it. This is the one where you then add the players to your lineup. So when you hit that little tab there, it drops down and you would put them in as either number 1, number 2 or number 3. It's as simple as that. Now, how far did we get? The members list shows all players on your team and it's blah, 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 blah. We've read that bit. The first member listed is always the captain, correct. The player names and ratings in the team. The kick button, we've explained that. Co-captain. Checkbox to make a player co-captain, which means that they can change the lineup. Current lineup. This shows who is playing when league night starts. You must always have a valid lineup, no duplication, and enough players to field a team. If there are mistakes, an error message appears. Now that should just say "an" rather than "and." That's another typo. Sent invitations. This is a list of players who have been sent invitations. That bit down the bottom. Buttons. Right. Well, that looks the same screenshot as what I've seen above. Right, wait a minute. Apart from the fact it now says Team Mario Brothers has enough players to sign up for the league test and has 2 extra spots left. So now you'll notice that Booger has accepted the invitation to the team and Super Admin's the captain. Booger's in there as the second player and Semi-Pro's the third. These other 2 have only been sent invitations, and as far as it looks there, none of them have been accepted yet because they're not shown as on the team list. Or so the only 3 players that are there at the moment are the captain and the 2 players. So this team at the moment doesn't have 2 subs because these other 2 players are still outstanding. Right. What bit did I get to? It says, team manager dialogue with a team that has enough players to sign up and the team rating average is within the limit. Now that's a G there that should be there, another typo. See the message at the top which means that the 3 required players are on the team and that 2 extra may be added. Well, that's the 2 that are outstanding who've been sent invites and the 3 that are in the team. Because the team has the required 3 players or more, the sign up button shows. So the sign up button appears in the little window, and that sign up button is the one you then press once you're happy with your team setup and also that it meets the requirements for the rating limit, etc. And now, with the other thing to look at, the important part is this here. Because earlier on, we had a team rating of 2,058 with those 2 players signed up. You've got, or added to the team, I should say, you've got Super Admin, a 1,700 player, or 1,782, and Semi-Pro is 233. But when you take out their average rating, it's 2,058. Now, on that rating limit, that team wouldn't be allowed to play because the limit is 2,000. But now, if you look in this box here, and this is why you have to be careful in how, or it's not so much careful, but you have to be sure that your team is within the rating limit. So this is why you can't put, Semi-Pro, Albinario, Spectre Dawn. You can't have a team like that. Not in this league setup. You can't do that because you're way, way over the rating limit. So this is why you have to have a good mix of players in your overall team list, and that way you can mix and match so that you make the rating limit. So that's the important thing to understand about this. You can't say, right, well, I'm going to have a team and I'm going to have all the best players in my team because they love me and we want to beat the hell out of everybody. It ain't going to happen, right? So that's the thing to be clear about. Let's just read this part again. Team manager dialogue with a team that has enough players to sign up and the team rating average is within the limit, which it is, with the 3 players in it, because obviously Booger is just 1,500. See the message at the top, which means that the 3 required players are on the team and that 2 extra may be added. Because the team has the required 3 players or more, the sign up button shows this team is well under the 2,000 average rating limit and has a valid lineup, so sign up can be pressed, but this will give an error. The full lineup must be submitted. Assign enough players to line up. You can change the lineup at any time. And then there's an OK to get rid of it. This is because the lineup has not been set. A valid lineup is required to sign up, and once signed up, a valid lineup must be pressed to submit. Closes the dialog without saving. Submit saves and closes the dialog, sending any invites at this time. This does not do data lineup, average checks, but it does not sign up a team. In the sign up button is present, and that must be used to sign up the team. Sign up. The button only appears when the team has not been signed up and must be pressed to sign the team up for the league. Once a team is signed up, the button does not appear. The lineup must be set up and the lineup average must meet the league average rating limits. The lineup can be changed at any time except during the league. Well, I presume that means a league night. I'd need to clarify that with them. Additional dialogue examples. Here are examples showing other dialogue situations for the team captain and some for the players on the team. Team Mario Brothers is in league test and the team is full. So if we look down here now, this now explains that the 2 players that were outstanding, remember I mentioned that earlier, if we look up here, these are the 2 players that have been sent invites and haven't responded yet. So that at the moment the team has got a lineup of 3, but it doesn't have the 2 players that are going to be on standby, if you know what I mean. So if we look down here, this dialog window now shows you the team captain. Pool Shark has joined the team. 9ball.com is in the team. Booger's already there and Semi-Pro was already there. But if we look on the right side, remember I said about these drop downs. When you drop it down, it will show you 1, 2, 3, and you choose what order you want to put a player in the team. It's not important, it's just important that they have a number next to their name. So in this case, for simple explanation, Super Admin is making sure that he's getting a game, right? So he's going to be in the team for that league night, for the first league night. He's decided he wants Pool Shark in. Remember, he's got to have a team that is within the rating limit. and he's also decided that he's going to keep semi-pro in the team. So with these ratings, 2,333, Pool Shark 1,621, and Super Admin in 1,782, that team of 3, their average rating is 1858. And I don't know what does this mean, lineup 1912? Maybe there's something I'm missing, but anyway, the important part is that I think the team, I've got it now, the overall team rating is all those players, right? That's what it is. All those players there, all their numbers, the average of them is 1858. The lineup for the league night, which is 1, 2, and 3, those 3 players, that is the average rating for the lineup for that night. Right? So the overall team average is 1858, but Super Admin has chosen these 3 players for the first night's league matches, and that rating is 1912, which is well within the overall rating, which is limited to 2,000. So those are the 3 players. And then if you look at these 2, Nineball.com and Booger have got none next to their name, and that means that they're on the sidelines. They're making daisy chains and waiting for another week to come by. That's how it looks at the moment. So you've got 3 players in the team, and these 2 are the guys who are subs. They're on standby. But like I mentioned early on, next week, for example, Super Admin might decide to drop Booger and add in Nineball.com. He'll have to probably keep himself in the team in order to make this minimum rating for the lineup. So you've got to be careful with the ratings of your players so that you can make the limit. And that's where it can, you have to have a good mix of players, good, bad, or ugly, because the handicapping system in the tournament, in the league, will help, and it'll make it fair for everybody. Right, this dialogue shows a team that is full, having the required 3 players plus 2 extra. That's this window he's talking about. The lineup is set and valid. Note the averages lineup shows the team rating average, all 5 players. That's the bit that I get confused about until I worked it out. The lineup average, that's brackets the 3 players in the lineup, and the rating limit for the league, which is that. If the lineup is changed, the lineup field will also change. Invalid means the lineup has a problem of either not enough players in the lineup, or a conflict where 2 players or more are in the same lineup spot. Now what that means is that you've actually stuck the team captain is inadvertently put Super Admin as number 1 and Pool Shark is number 1. That'll come up with an error. So you've only, you know, if there's 3 players in the team, then you've got one of them is number 1, one of them is number 2, and one of them is number 3. That's fairly simple to understand. But if you put it in silly and you put every player in as 1, then you'll get an error. That's basically what it means there. I understand that part. Invalid means that the lineup has a problem of either not enough players in the lineup or a conflict where 2 players or more are in the same lineup spot. If the lineup average is too high, you'll also get an error. Lineup shows lineup average rating limit. If lineup shows just a number, it is valid and submit will work. That means that your team meets the requirements for the rating limit. When a player gets, he keeps adding a D onto this an invite. When a player gets an invite and they click the link in the invite messages or they select team manager from the league event page, this dialog appears. So I'll read that again. When a player gets an invite, so when a captain has sent out an invite to the player and that person gets the message in their inbox on their profile page, click the link in the invite message, or they select the team manager from the... Right, I'll read that again because I'm losing myself here. When a player gets an invite and they click the link in the invite message. So when the player opens the message and they'll see a link for the league, it says, or they select team manager from the league event page, this dialogue appears. So it says Team Mario, blah, 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 1 spot left. And then the player decides to accept that invite or decline it. So you'll have an accept or decline. So once you've received a message, the invite message from a captain, and you open that message and you click the link in the message, this is what will appear. And then your choice is, you'll see the players that are already listed in the team. Your choice is, I want to play in that team, or I don't have time, I can't make it, I can't commit myself. Then you would hit decline and then close the box. You can see this is a subset of the team manager dialogue, the captaincies. The team information is present, but the player, and that should be the rather than the player can only accept or decline the invite. If they decline, the player is removed from the invite list. The captain gets a message telling them that the invite was declined. If they accept, some processing is done. If they accept, I'll say that again. If they accept the message, some processing is done to make sure the team average rating limit is not exceeded and that there is still room on the team. If those tests pass, the player is added to the team. Otherwise, a message such as this is shown to the player. Message: sorry, the team is full. You can contact Super Admin to discuss a spot. A spot could open up, allowing you on this team. And then you hit OK to close it. Once a player is on a team, they do have the option of leaving. Any member of the team other than the captain sees this when Team Manager is pressed. Team setup, Team Mario Brothers. And if you're listed on the team but you want out, obviously the right thing to do, the correct thing to do, is to discuss that with the captain and say, look, I'm getting into hospital, I'm doing this, or I'm having to go there, I can't commit myself anymore. Then you would hit the button after that discussion and leave the team. If they press the leave button, a message is sent to the captain notifying the player left. This isn't usually a good thing. Best to have good communication with players on your team to avoid them leaving unexpectedly. So that's what I'm saying. You need to, if you have any queries about remaining in the team, or you want to duck out, then the best thing is to discuss it with the captain and whatever. It's a fairly simple thing to do. Addendum to that, just some other things to think about and be aware of. Team setup window again. Let's look at this. We've got everything's okay so far, but suddenly it says, and remember we've got 3 players in the team. We've got Super Admin, Semi-Pro and 9ball.com, but with those 3 players, 2 of them over 2,000, 1 is over 2,300, the lineup suddenly is over the limit with all those players in the actual lineup for that week's league matches. Remember, that's a team average with all these 5 players, but this is the lineup average, and the lineup average is over the score, right? So you'll get a red text telling you that isn't right. So, for example, what the captain would have to do is take out 9ball.com or Semi-Pro and stick in Booger, and that will bring it well under the 2,000 rating. That's simple enough to understand. But here's what it says in the text. Here is an example of a team which has some lineup limitations. For 9ball.com and Semi-Pro to play the same evening, Booger must play and Super Admin and Pool Shark cannot, because the lineup would go over the 2,000 limit. You can see this lineup is not valid by the lineup 2056 is greater than 2,000. It is important to be aware of lineup limitations before creating a team and accepting them with upfront knowledge. And that is it. Right, so I'm going to message Steve to go through this. He's going to have to go through all of this again and get rid of all these typos because there's a whole stack of them. But don't forget what I mentioned right at the beginning of this video. If you want to play in the league and you want to have a bit of fun in the league nights, then that's the job for you. That's all you want to do. Unless you want to be a captain, you don't need to worry about much of this other than the information. And I think the information is fairly self-explanatory with the pop-up windows that a player will get, you know, during invites and stuff like that. The rest of it, you don't need to worry about. So the league is going to be up and running. As I said, I've sent out a stack of invites. I'm hoping to get some people interested in it, and then hopefully everything will go okay. But as usual, there could be problems. But that's Steve's job to worry about that. His problem right now is the bucket load of typos that are in this, and hopefully he'll get that fixed. So I hope. Well, I did mumble a bit, didn't I? But hopefully it clarifies it a wee bit better, talking and reading through it. If you want to go and read through it yourself, it's all on the support page, so we'll just clarify where it is again so that you know where to look. If you go to the support page and then you go down the frequently asked questions, it's right at the bottom, so you can't miss it. Right at the bottom of the FAQs, just click that tab and it gives you all the dialogue that I'll be reading through. So hopefully you'll get a better idea how this is supposed to be going. But as I say, don't think you're going to have the best team in VP4. You have to have the fairest team. You have to be fair to your sub-players and give them a game on alternate weeks, for example. So you want to have a good mixture of players in your team, and that's what it's about. It's a community thing. It's not just about having a team that's going to beat the hell out of every single player that's going to come against them. You want to have a bit of fun and a laugh. So it doesn't matter what your rating is, if it's good, bad, indifferent, or whatever. It's just about joining in and having a bit of fun. And I think it's going to be a wee bit worthwhile, provided we get the interest. So if you get an invite, accept it. It's all part of the deal. Right, we'll see you again soon.